Folks, I'm glad you're here. This might actually be the most important video that I've ever posted here at Prepper Nation. Welcome to Prepper Nation. I am John. Whether you are brand new to the channel or you are one of those usual suspects, as we like to call them, thank you very much for checking the video out. So I'm going to cut straight to it, okay? There's a lot that we can be talking about this morning. A lot of stuff going on in our world. That's the case pretty much every morning, okay? We could be talking about the drone attacks or the attempted drone attacks on our U.S. warships. The fact that Zelensky is out of money and the White House is begging Congress for money to continue that war. We could talk about the Treasury imploding right before our very eyes. We could be talking about the Southern invasion that won't go away, the newest China outbreak. There's a lot of stuff going on. But this morning, I'm here to tell you as a prepper, you have 27 days. Simple as that. We have 27 days left until 2024. All right. Let me tell you what I'm talking about here. So, according to the prepper demographics over on the preppingguide.com, now this is based on US government numbers, US population versus how many people identify as preppers or people that are actively prepping. Again, you can split hairs on the numbers or whatever, but these are the official numbers according to the US government. For each one of us preppers, there are 37.8 zombies, meaning non-preppers. That's a significant number, in my opinion. And that means, again, for each one of us that is watching this and listening to this right now, 37.8 Americans believe that on January the 1st, somehow the United States is going to self-correct. All right. 2023 has been a horrible year. Nobody out there in internet land can dispute that. Not even the non-preppers. But again, almost 38 to 1, they are sitting here counting the days until New Year's Eve. And then they're going to have a big celebration on New Year's Eve. And then the reality, I think, is going to begin to set in. Because again, these people somehow magically think that our country is going to improve. Our government is doing absolutely nothing about the problems we have. Nothing. They are coming on TV, they're giving speeches, they're telling everybody, well, this is going on, this is going on. Nothing is actually being done to correct the issues here at home. Reckless spending hasn't stopped. It doesn't seem to matter if we have Democrats in Congress with the majority, doesn't seem to matter if we have Republicans, doesn't seem to matter. The point is, Congress continues to spend money that we don't have. That's not going to change on January the 1st. Illegal immigration is still a problem, huge problem. And there's a bunch of finger pointing in our government, but I'm sorry, the solution is not to let these people in and bust them to cities to try and get at the cities and overwhelm these sanctuary cities. That's not actually solving anything. Food inflation continues to worsen. We all know it. There's still people in the comment section sometimes that deny it. I don't even care anymore. Deny it. You're talking to the wall at this point. People know what's going on. Whatever. Crime is soaring. We just talked about this at the end of last week. Nothing's being done to correct it. We're not hiring extra police officers. We're not training these extra police officers. We're not strengthening the authority and the police departments in cities. I mean, we've reached a point now, and we have for a couple of years actually, where police departments can be overrun and they just run. They don't know what to do about the criminal element, right? Household necessities, which I would consider anything from vital medication to, your heating bill. during the winter. Things like this, insurance, I would consider that a pretty vital necessity. They're no longer affordable, and they haven't been for some time, and it continues to get worse. Again, the government, the elected officials are doing absolutely nothing to help with this. It's business as usual in DC, in the swamp. Um, so this morning, the message is pretty simple, okay? Forget about the noise. Just forget about all of the other noise. I'm not saying it's not important. Of course, it's important. What's happening in the Middle East, what's happening in Europe, what's happening on Wall Street, all that stuff is important. Ask yourself this question this morning. What are you doing? What's one thing that you are doing to help your personal survivability in 2024? What's one thing you are doing right now, not reading the Wall Street Journal, okay? Not over on Reuters for 5 minutes. What are you doing on a personal level to help you and your family survive 2024? Because again, when January the 1st gets here, the illusion is over. And when the illusion is over, it is game over here in the United States of America. I'm sorry if that's a negative message for some folks and you want sunshine and rainbows this morning, son, you're not going to get them. Sorry. No one else likes preppers during SHTF. Let's be honest with ourselves, okay? Some people will say, well, yeah, John, you can still prep after January the 1st, which technically is true, but nobody likes you or me. They don't like people like us during an SHTF, a full-blown event. We saw this firsthand with the pandemic. The zombies don't like you. They consider you a hoarder at this point. I can remember seeing post after post after post on social media, hearing it in my local area. It's not fair. Why do these people have baby formula and I'm over here with babies and now there's no formula to buy? They should share what they have. People do not like preppers during SHTF. And guess what? As we've discussed last week, your own government doesn't like prepping during SHTF. There are literally plans on the book to seize and redistribute. We went over these plans, they're declassified. So when reality sets in and begins on January the 1st, and I assure you it will, people are going to begin to have these wake up moments like, okay, the ball dropped and nothing's changed. In fact, it's gotten worse. The blame game will begin. All right. You and I will be blamed. Yep. Preppers, maybe politicians to a certain degree, but preppers will be blamed. We always are. And you know what? That's fine. That's fine. Blame me. They can sit around and blame me come January the 1st because at that point, I'll be set. I'm going to have everything I need. Listen, I'm going to go ahead and throw it out there. On January the 1st, I'm set up for an entire year. I won't even need to go to the store if things get that hectic. We've been putting in the work here and there. You know what I'm saying? So let it collapse. And that may seem like an anti-American message, and I'm sorry this morning, but those are my thoughts. Let the nation collapse in 2024. If it's coming anyway, may it go ahead and collapse. John, aren't you going to stand up for this country? This country doesn't stand up for me. Again, I'm one of the most hated demographics here in the United States right now because of my religious views, because I'm conservative, because the way I look. Let it collapse. Don't really care at this point. But slow burn has conditioned many preppers, I think. Many preppers, because it's taken so long to get to this point, hasn't it? When you really get down and you start thinking about it, even prior to the pandemic, things were getting bad, right? In many other ways, but there's been the slow burn every single day, the slow boil, if you will. And a lot of preppers have gotten to the point now where they think there's plenty of time. I'll just put this off till tomorrow. I'll do this next week. And I'm here to tell you this morning, in 27 days, we are on the clock. So for all of you that have been waiting on the big SHTF, I don't know where you've been living because we've been experiencing SHTF every day. But on January the 1st, we will be on the clock, folks. And I'll hear, but I can't afford to prep, John. I would prep. I just can't afford it. I'm on a shoestring budget. Tune in Saturday night, this upcoming Saturday night, because I'm going to bring an extensive, inexpensive, practical list of preps, stuff that you literally can begin to get at the Dollar Tree, okay? That'll put you on the right track. And there is still time to prep, folks, right now. But again, 27 days. I'm here to deliver that message this morning. We have 27 days until the new year, and we have 6 years left until 2030. And we all know what 2030 means. We know the significance of 2030. John Kerry was just at the meeting that we were talking about last week. He, non elected official or anything at this point, he promised the people at this meeting, you know what? America's going to be done with coal by 2030. We're going to be an all electric nation by 2030. And at first, you're like, how can he make such a promise? But then you understand that's the plan. Everything hinges on 2030. Everything these people are talking about at these secretive meetings, these UN meetings and these WEF meetings, all hinge on 2030. We know their strategy. We have their game plan. So this morning, what is your game plan to be prepared for it? Because it's coming. The storm's coming. There's no way around it. Call me a doomer if you want to this morning. That's fine. I don't really care. You know, call this video fear porn or clickbait or whatever. I don't care as long as you are doing something this morning to get yourself prepared, other than digging into the news on the Middle East, digging into the news on Ukraine. We can go back to that tomorrow. Take today, refocus, as a wise man once said, not even focus, because that has the term us in it. Folk, FOC. You yourself, what are you going to focus on and dial in? How are you and your family going to survive the upcoming year? You folks are about to see a United States of America that I promise you, you never thought was possible. And I'm talking about in 2024, but don't say I didn't warn you. Consider this video, I guess, an emergency alert. I'm not going to do these every day. That would be ridiculous. But I need to do it at least once. Hope for the best, prep for the worst. There is nothing wrong with having hope. Everyone should have hope, but it should not be hopium. You need to be grounded in reality. You need to understand that the most powerful people in our world control the world. And they literally have an agenda out there called 2030, and everything is targeted by 2030, by 2030, by 2030. They are fast tracking their plan, and their plan looks a lot different than the United States of America that you and I grew up in. We're never going back to that, okay? Be grounded in reality. Do not be smoking hopium this morning. Do not be distracted with all of the nonsensical news stories that you can get anywhere. Okay. Be grounded in reality this morning. This is not a game. I truly hope you heed this warning this morning. But again, if you don't, I'm not to blame because I left the warning. And folks that are catching this, again, thank you very much. Feel free to leave your own warning in the comments section down below the video, because there are always going to be new preppers coming in. There are always going to be people coming in that think that the world is great and we're just doomers over here. Leave your own warning in the comments. Y'all take care. God bless.